All right, today we're in Las Vegas, in traffic, in a GR86 with Kevin from Jabal on Cars.
What's up, guys?
How's it going? We've spent all week together. We've been hanging out, we've been doing car things, filming videos, and you made me drive myself to the airport in your car.
Yes, get to work, my friend.
On your ball tires that are heat cycled out after like 12 track days, putting me in perilous conditions. So you just posted a video of your long-term 1-year ownership impressions on this car.
That's right.
I'll admit I haven't watched it yet. I will, but we both are
unforgivable.
I know. We're both breezy boys or grade 6 boys. Still holding on to our cars. Fenton, we've been hanging out with him all week. He's thinking about selling his BRZ. But
he's definitely selling it because he got the new Integra Type S.
Integra Type S, yeah. So, don't give away all the secrets, but how has your ownership experience been, if you could just kind of sum it up in this car? Because you also had an FRS for how many years?
9 years.
9 years.
2013 July until last year July.
Yeah. And you've talked at length about how you kind of compare those, like the old generation and this new generation car on your channel. But you've tracked this quite heavily, and you've done a few modifications, which we will probably not get a chance to explore much on in this video with traffic, but that's okay.
There's a right-hand corner coming up.
There is.
A little on-ramp.
Yeah. We'll duck behind
see if it's clear.
Squatted Mercury.
Look at that stance.
Yeah.
So, overall, I think this car makes a lot of sense if you're a young guy or a young girl, car enthusiast, loves driving, wants to improve your driver skill, but it's your single vehicle.
Yes.
Because it's actually shockingly practical. You fold the rear seats down. I've moved between apartments, obviously no furniture, but carried all my possessions. Very practical, great car, decently comfortable, especially the second generation. But now that I have a Mazda CX-50 as my daily driver, now I'm thinking,
you want something less practical?
I want something a little bit more hardcore.
More masochistic, more uncomfortable?
Give me an experience when I get behind the wheel.
Yeah. That
gives me a little bit of a headache or a little bit tired.
Yeah.
I feel like, damn, I don't want to drive that thing again for another week.
That's
what I want.
Not sweaty enough.
Yeah. So this car is a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot with the mods, you know, the camber bolts, dialed out a lot of that problematic understeer I was getting on track initially.
I would 100% agree. This is the best one sports car solution for the money. It just is. Like, if you need one car, it's an amazing car as just like a daily, as a practical proposition. Given its packaging, it's very spacious inside. You can fold down the rear seats, put a bunch of stuff in the trunk. Trunk opening isn't as big as the last gen, like your FRS. It's a pretty big difference, actually.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, it's just so fun. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you because I just bought this S2000,
and we have Mr. S2000, Fenton's son, who's gone through many S2000s.
Yeah.
We have you getting S2000, and now I asked you guys, hey, should I get a Mazda NC Miata? Should I get a Honda S2000? What do you guys think? Because I do have a Lotus Emira on the way.
Yes.
Which I'll be getting early next year. And both you and Fenton telling me S2K all the way.
S2K is the way to go. I really don't want to get rid of my BRZ. I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I can. They're just such fun cars, and we've driven a few of them this week. We drove an automatic that had pretty insane intake and exhaust setup. That was really fun. It's just, you can't go wrong with this platform and with whatever you want to do with it.
It is such a great starting point, blank canvas.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been fun.
What brakes do you have on here?
I got CSG 21 on the front, CSG 11 on the rear.
They feel good. They feel really good.
Yeah, these are, I think, one of their more, if not their most focused track compound.
Okay, cool. So it's a little squealy, a little noisy, but
the
they
bite
last
is
progressive.
Forever on track.
Okay, sweet.
And they have great feel. They don't overheat.
Yeah, I burned through a set of Porterfield FRSs in like 2 track days. It was very fast.
I was melting my DS2500s constantly. There it is.
There it is. And I assume we're going left.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think compared to like the S2000, compared to the Miata, the engine is probably the least exceptional thing about this car. I really love the way the GR86 handles. The chassis is amazing. It's so placeable. It's so easy to drive at the limit. It's an amazing learning tool. It's not as much of a knife edge as the Miata, as the S2000, so it's a bit more approachable, I think. And
I think at a certain point, sometimes you want a little bit more knife edge, though.
you do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to be scared after you've kind of mastered the handling character of something like this.
Now I'm curious, this is on stock suspension. How do you feel that it compares to your BRZ?
You know, all right, here's the thing. Michigan roads are horrendous. People don't realize how bad they really are until you come to Michigan. Everywhere else in the country, I think this is the car to get because the suspension is better sorted for grip driving than the BRZ. BRZ is amazing on a dirt road. It's amazing on Michigan roads, which are super rough. It's amazing in the wintertime when you need that extra compliance and softness. I've been rallycrossing on my stock suspension, and it feels great. Like, I put a lift kit on my car.
When I drove it, I was shocked how comfortable it was.
It's so compliant. It rides like a Toyota Camry. You know, it's ridiculous, actually. But this is a better suspension setup for handling. For, you know, you can tune in a little bit of front negative camber and dial out most of that understeer. It feels great, and you have completely smooth roads out here in Las Vegas, and most other people do too.
It's some parts are okay, some parts are not so much. But yeah, I don't really think that the suspension here, how stiff it is, because it's still a lot softer than my FRS, which I also kept on stock suspension. It is not really problematic, and I do appreciate the way it's set up. It's pretty oversteer friendly. I mean, from factory, a little bit understeer initially because of the lack of camber, but you dial that in, and it's very easy to kick the tail out.
Yep. We just reviewed a GR86 not too long ago, and I have pedal commander on my BRZ because the stock throttle map is abysmal. It's terrible. GR86 is a better throttle setup. The tuning is just nicer. It's more linear.
Yeah, the throttle mapping on the GR86 better than the BRZ, but still too much on-off switch. And I think part of the reason is that they wanted to make the car feel more peppy compared to the first gen. I was like, oh, let's just make this, have full throttle.
That's what everyone's doing. Yeah.
It makes it. You want to be able to modulate the throttle with precision, and when you have such a narrow band, it detracts from that.
Yep. I mean, okay, the engine, yes, still lacks some character, but the power, the torque is great in this new generation.
Oh, yeah.
And for daily
Big
driving,
difference.
It's a huge difference. I know you don't like the steering as much in this new car. I like its lightness. I like the size of the steering wheel. Of course, this steering wheel is just a carryover from the refreshed previous gen from 2017 on.
I don't like the buttons. I've accidentally hit them on track.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I also think that the feedback is reduced, and the on-center has this weird stickiness to it, which I don't like at all.
And your steering is probably quite a bit different from mine because you have what width tires? 245s?
225.
225s. Okay, so they're a little bit wider. But it's like a track-oriented 225, so it's probably like...
Yeah, 200 tread wear, Kumo V730s.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I barely had anything wider than 205s on my BRZ, so...
Skinnier than stock.
Little pizza cutters. I think you've done some nice mods to this. You've got an oil cooler.
Jackson Racing oil cooler.
Yep.
Which, on track, even out here in the desert, granted we don't go in the middle of summer, but even during the hotter months, beginning of summer, early fall, I'm not really getting beyond 240 with my oil temp.
That's great. That's huge. I mean, stock, you'd be at it's 140 degrees right now in traffic, and stock...
Vegas, baby.
Yeah. You'd be getting up there. You'd be getting up to 270.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've run 5W30 as well.
Yep.
Just to be extra safe. And now whenever I go on a right-hand turn, I just,
Upshift.
short shifted and pray to Jesus.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of turns are right. It's a clockwise world that we live in. But if you're going left, NASCAR. Yep. You guys are completely lost on that last 10 seconds of video. GR86, new BRZ, FA24 has been experiencing some oil starvation issues that some people have logged and reported recently.
Sustained right-handers only.
On sustained right-handers, yeah. So we don't know how extensive or how it will affect engine longevity yet. It's still kind of early. Seen maybe a few more engine failures on track with these new cars than we did initially with the F820 cars. But time will tell. We will see.
Time will tell, but that's also one of the large reasons why I'm considering getting rid of this car, because I like going to the track a lot.
Yeah.
And I like, when I'm at the track, I don't like going easy on my car. I like to get the most out of it, push my own limits, push the car's limits. And based on what we're seeing, it seems like it's not a matter of if, but when, if you are tracking this car aggressively and pushing it hard. So I now only do track days close to Vegas, so that if I do need a tow, I'm not coming all the way from California, 5-hour drive.
Yep. I think you're probably okay if you're just doing a couple track days a year. Like with my car, I would do like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 track days a year. That's it. That's all I had time for. But if you're tracking this on a regular basis, like we were at a track day at Buttonwillow yesterday, and there were a ton of first-gen BRZs there. A ton. GR86 or FRSs. God, they've had so many names for these cars. Toyota 86s, FRSs, GT86s, yeah.
The twins.
BRZ, yeah. So there were a ton of them there, and they were all holding up, and they looked like they've been tracked for the last decade, So
I do think part of it depends on the frequency in which you're tracking.
Yep.
And part of it depends on how hard you push the car as well.
Yep.
Because, a lot of people, when they first track, they're getting their oil temps up to 230, and they're learning the lines, and they're focusing on basics. And once you're hitting a red line pretty consistently and you're pushing the car pretty hard, then that adds up over time. Yeah. And I'm doing maybe 10 weekends a year, 20 track days total, and per year, and that's
a lot.
That's concerning to me.
Sure, that makes sense. No, I hear that. I think for most owners, the majority of people who aren't going to be tracking their car as often or even at all, they don't really have anything to worry about, unless if you're really going hard in the canyons. For my use case, like I really don't think I have much to worry about, because I have so little grip in the car most of the time. Like I'm either on winter tires or I'm on my all-terrains, which are awesome.
And when you are pushing it, you're on loose surfaces anyways.
Exactly. Right? Like I have specifically built my car for Michigan roads and Michigan winters and rallycross, and it's great. But I'm not going to be seeking out high grip scenarios in it. And the Pilot Sport All Season 4 tires that I do run some of the year are less grippy than the Michelin Primacy tires. So it's more fun that way. I've always maintained that these cars are the most fun with less grip. I think these new cars are more fun with more grip than the previous gen, because they have more power and it's a bit better of a balance.
Mm-hmm.
So
agreed.
It's just a shame that we had such a reliable engine, and this new motor just seems to be a little bit flawed in some ways. So maybe they'll come up with some fixes. Maybe we'll see what happens in the coming months. I know aftermarket companies are working hard on coming up with a solution. Maybe Toyota. I know Toyota engineers are aware of the problem. Super engineers are aware of the problem. Who knows? Maybe they'll come up with like an update or something.
I'm hopeful that there will be a solution from one of the two, aftermarket or OEM, and then people can really enjoy these cars without as much concern.
Yeah, just the peace of mind would be great, because this is such a great car. This is such a great platform. The next generation of this car is going to come out. It's going to be turbo 3-cylinder. It's going to be mild hybrid. It's going to be heavier. It's going to be on a different platform. It'll cost more. This is just kind of the sweet spot for me. I freaking love it. It's amazing.
I don't after driving maybe a little bit more than 100 cars over the last year with my Jabal and Cars channel, I actually appreciate this car more. I thought I would appreciate it less, because I'm driving Lotuses and Porsches and this and that, and I'm like, the amount of driving pleasure and enjoyment you get at $28,000 for the base trim or $32,000 for the premium is insane.
Yeah.
It is insane. I mean, is the steering perfect? No. But the steering's pretty good. The transmission's pretty good. The chassis is so dialed in. It's so tight and taut compared to the first gen as well.
I think this is as fun to drive as a 911, which
it's really up there.
Is 3 or 4 times as much as this car in price. I mean, it's
definitely more fun than the Supra in my experience.
Yeah.
Even the manual Supra, it is more fun because you can push this and dance with it on the streets.
Yep.
Going to the grocery store, you can get it sideways and control it easily.
Tunnel run?
Tunnel run.
Stock exhaust.
With the active sound unplugged.
Unplugged, yeah. First thing you gotta do. That's for sure.
It's like too harsh and sibilant to me. It just doesn't sound pleasant.
Yeah. Where do we go for Delta?
So, terminal 1, terminal 3, let's see. Hang left.
Okay. We'll stay left. Terminal 1?
I think it's
terminal 3. Okay. I trust you. You live here. I mean, we gotta commit.
Yeah, stay close. We're gonna find out.
We gonna find out.
Oh, sorry. It's terminal 1.
Skirt. I don't trust these tires that much. Okay, well, we'll get there eventually. And let's see, Terminal 3, departing flights.
Just hang out here. We're
yeah,
gonna circle back.
All right, got it. This is your plan to keep me in Vegas for longer.
Exactly, man. We're having such a good time. One extended.
We have had a lot of fun. It's been a good week. Yeah, I mean, our brand new, freshly paved roads in Michigan aren't as nice as these roads.
You want to meet that?
It's like
Very
a little bit
annoying.
music.
After having a radar detector for close to a year now, I'm kind of thinking not necessary.
Not worth it.
Hasn't really done much for me.
Yeah, Waze is pretty on
I think
the
if you're
ball.
good at like scanning the horizon and looking for where cops could hide and like
Yeah.
recognizing a cop car, then
Use your eyeballs.
and use Waze, those two combined, like you're pretty set. And then this thing just has so many false positives.
Yeah.
Even after dialing the settings, following, I think Vortex Radar has a really good setup guide. I followed that, and yeah, still not impressed.
I would agree. I sold my radar detector with my 2014 BRZ 3 years ago, and I haven't really looked back. So.
And I've never got a speeding ticket yet. Knock on wood.
Oh, you're getting one this week now.
Oh Jesus! Jinx myself.
Yep. You probably get it on your new e-bike.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You're only supposed to go 17 miles an hour on the sidewalk. You were doing
If you guys want to
32.
see Topher rip it on a bright lime green e-bike, then check out Instagram.
Yeah.
We're gonna have that footage.
This is good. I've never done a GR86 video in traffic, and it's fine. People
It's
say,
comfortable, man.
get the automatic if you live in an area with a lot of traffic, but the clutch is
Not
light. It's easy
necessary.
to modulate. There's not a lot of like.
Even the first gen, I removed the
Drivetrain
clutch helper
issues.
spring, and I would drive it in traffic. Not a big deal.
Is this stock clutch helper spring?
This is stock.
I think it's fine. I think it's okay.
Totally fine.
Yeah. The drivability issue for me has always been throttle tuning, and the helper spring definitely helped with the first gen. I took mine out also. I put an M-Tech spring in my car because I took it out and didn't like it, and then I couldn't get the stock spring back in there. But, I mean, it's reasonably quiet in here too.
The road noise is actually vastly improved over first gen.
Yeah.
So I use an app on my phone. I use the Apple Watch, and the decibels I think on the first gen were like on the highway going 70 to 80 miles an hour was around 79 to 80 decibels, really loud.
Okay.
And
That's pretty loud.
in this gen, I think it's like 73,
Yeah.
74.
This car just feels tighter. It's more refined. It's better built, bolted together. It's just.
A lot of people complain about the
more
interior
modern.
on the first gen. I don't know how anyone could complain about the interior on this at this price point. I think it's
In person, it looks great. I think in photos, it turned off a lot of people initially before they got into the car, but sitting in this, I love it.
Yeah. The Alcantara is a nice touch on the premium. This definitely feels cheaper without the Alcantara on the seats and on the the doors and right by the gauge cluster.
Yeah,
But apart from that, it still feels pretty good.
that's good.
Straight ahead.
Still haven't muscle memory where your mute button is. There we go. Yeah, radar detectors are just like, it's the story of the boy who cried wolf.
Yep. And then now I'm sure that what's going to happen is I'll be gunning it.
Yeah.
It'll be going off. Yeah, false positive. Bam, ticket.
Yep. Just gunning it out of spite for the KA band. Jeez.
I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me what I have wrong on the setup, and I'm totally open to suggestions to get fewer false positives while still maintaining the usability. Because if you reduce, it's like the balance between sensitivity and specificity, right? So
Yeah.
if you're reducing the noisiness of this, you're probably also going to get a lot of false negatives.
Yeah.
Which would obviously be problematic. Because then you think you're safe, and you're not.
I just use Waze and eyeballs. Eyeballs are really useful. when
Waves
driving.
and eyeballs.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Yep, that's it. Alright, I really don't trust your tires, so we're going to take it easy.
They're still very controllable.
Yeah.
Because they're lower traction, so they actually aren't as snappy as when they're fresh.
Okay. So, departing flights, left. We'll stay here. Also, I've noticed that Las Vegas just kind of has a general layer of...
Right, man.
Oh, stay right?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
That's passenger pickup.
You're right. Good. Also, I've noticed that Las Vegas just kind of has a general layer of dust over everything, so you get a little bit less traction
Slidey
on the roads.
boys.
Yeah, than you do normally in other places. Came out here for the Nissan Z launch, and it was a drifty time. It was fun.
Hang left.
Hang left. Skirt. Have you removed your charcoal filter yet?
I have not.
Oh, plus 10 horsepower.
Is it really?
It makes a difference, especially in like low-end torque. It does eliminate some of that torque dip, which you can still kind of feel in your car a bit.
Any downside to doing that?
It's just like an emissions compliant thing for the U.S. In other markets, it's not there. Like in Japan, I don't think it's there. In Australia, I don't
Do you
think
have a
it's
video
there.
on how to do that?
You just cut it out carefully.
Let's see.
Yeah, but actually, it did dyno like another 10 horsepower.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's very surprising, actually.
Yeah. So it does notice. I did notice a big difference. Great. All right, that's a wrap. We've got here, and I have to
We
go
survived.
fly to Detroit.
Safe flight, my friend.
Dude,
Great seeing you.
great seeing you too. Thanks again for a hospitable and enjoyable
Thank
weekend.
you. Anytime, man. Come
Hope you
back.
guys enjoyed the
Come back to
video.
Vegas.
Look at these gold wheels. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll
Give
see
me
you
a
guys
5-star
later.
Uber, please.
Yes, of course. Look at all that space. All right. Go check out Jabal and Cars too. Good videos.
Appreciate it, man.
One of my POV disciples.
Learned from the best.